men's basketball team in the Olympic Games. The officials, Mike Mathis, Ed F. Rush, Jim Capers, and we're just about set. Patrick Ewing and William Bedford on the opening tip. William Bedford started the last 4 regular season games last year when James Edwards had a back problem, and also started a couple of times during the playoffs. Xavier McDaniel still trying to get out of that shooting slump, and he'll pick up an assist as Gerald Wilkins gives the Knicks a 2-0 lead. Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars in the backcourt. Mark Aguirre, William Bedford, and Dennis Rodman up front. Ewing with the save, and it's deflected out. Now he lost it. It will be Detroit ball.
In many ways, Marv, one of the, well, maybe the major matchup tonight. Dennis Rodman, Charles Oakley has drawn that short straw. Rodman has been murder. He has been the constant, the good constant for this team, particularly on the offensive boards. He is murder, the best.
And he had 19 rebounds in the loss to Seattle on Wednesday. Bedford. So the game is tied at 2. Wednesday night here at the Palace, Pistons lost to Seattle 91-86. Jackson on the rebound, and Rodman sweeps, getting position on Oakley. Joe Dumars has had his shooting difficulties. Good pass from Aguirre. Here's Aguirre. And Jim Capers with the call up high, a pushing foul indicated.
Starters until tonight's new starting team.
And Dumars able to connect to give the Pistons a 4-2 lead. Meanwhile, Seattle off to a good start, 7 up, 3 down, coming off a very successful road trip back home tonight for the Chicago Bulls.
Ewing should have a party on William Bedford. I would think Bedford would be mentally very nervous about dealing with Patrick Ewing in his first starting role.
Xavier McDaniel able to hit from outside. He was 5 for 13 against Dallas. Jackson for Wilkins. And last season, the Knicks won 3 out of 4 against Detroit. Aguirre getting position, and he was fouled.
Well, the strength of Mark shot. He bumped Xavier, got rid of him, and then he went to his shot without affecting him. That's that strength. He can bump people, doesn't throw his shooting off.
The foul was called on Ewing, who is trying to help. They double up on Ewing. Wilkins, tough angle shot. And McDaniel gets to it. Last touch by Oakley.
The only real fear on the boards for the Knicks is Rodman. Aguirre would much prefer to get out and score. He thinks scoring. Bedford is also plays like a forward does, so Rodman is their only fear on the boards.
Dumars played tight by Wilkins. Shot clock is at 5. Isaiah with the one-on-one move. Bedford. 3-on-2, and Oakley able to hit Wilkins on the one hop. Knicks had to slow it down because the Pistons got back.
Good defense by Jackson as Isaiah went one-on-one.
Stay right here, said Ed F. Rush. Loose ball against the Pistons. Wilkins, yes, 7-6 Detroit.
And the last one was here, rather, which was 2 games ago in their meetings, was a dramatic Trent Tucker three-point shot at the buzzer that did it.
Ewing jumping out. Aguirre on a quick release. Mark Aguirre, who had been out of the lineup for 3 games with a sprained ankle, played only 3 minutes the other night against Seattle, but looks to be very much back into it. And it's a foul on Wilkins. Offensive foul. Fans here at the Palace have been upset, impatient. That's the story the other night in the game against the Sonics. Pistons heard a smattering of boos And for the first time here at the Palace, there were some no-shows, even though it was called a sellout crowd. Bedford has given the Pistons an 11-6 lead.
Well, if Bedford isn't going to hurt you inside the foul line, which predictably he won't, Patrick Ewing better respect that outside shot, because that's what he does well. Aguirre on Ewing, or Ewing on being guarded by Aguirre, goes to that strength move. Sometimes it's so difficult to resist that when you have the shorter player. You want to overpower him.
And Thomas goes all the way. Loose ball foul. Basket won't count. Foul against the Knicks. We'll start after next season. Here is Thomas. And the Pistons, in the midst of a run, have a 13-6 lead. A 9-2 spurt by Detroit. And Pat Riley wants to talk it over. 6:48 remaining in the first. At the age of 81, he had been ill for some time. Sonny so pivotal to the success of the All-American Football League and signing Joe Namath to the then record $427,000 contract. That was back in 1965. And our thoughts to his wife Leah Ray and the Wordland family.
Yes, he changed the face of sports with that Namath contract.
Off the bucket by Ewing, the Knicks now trail 13-8. And it will be Detroit ball. Both clubs remaining the same following the timeout.
Oakley is really pushing Rodman around.
However, Aguirre continues to get good position.
Time for McDaniel to show the reputation of toughness that he has on Aguirre. Physically, Aguirre is moving and gliding, it seems, without anything bothering him.
It'll be Nick Ball. Thomas out of bounds. Almost late. Here's Jackson, and he was hammered. Hit by Bedford.
Think of, he hit that one against the Dodgers.
You don't mean Field of Dreams, though, John.
Well, I know. Yeah, that's right. No, I did think of Field. No, you're right. You're right. Excuse me. Redford's movie.
Yes.
Help me.
I'm not going to.
Because you don't know.
Kirk Gibson did it for the Dodgers against the Oakland A's.
Thank you, Marv.
Yeah. Let's try to help out, John. You're talking of the natural.
Very good. Very good.
Pistons by 5 with 5.5 remaining first quarter. Aguirre going glass. So, John, if you want to think Field of Dreams, feel free to.
There's a similarity, though.
Jackson with the offensive rebound and the field goal.
Why not?
Now trail 17-12.
Why not? There's no authentic rebounder other than Rodman out there.
Aguirre. Oakley. And again, Rodman to the boards. Pistons on a break. Aguirre. Off balance, difficult shot for Mark Aguirre. He has now hit 4 out of 7. He has 9 points off the steal. Thomas off the hesitation dribble. Pistons 21, the Knicks 12.
Too easy for the Pistons.
4:20 remaining in this opening quarter. Ewing, strong move, yes, and it counts. And Patrick helped up by both Bedford and Rodman.
Well, Ewing making himself a target. Talk about soft defense by Bedford. Patrick, whatever you would like is okay with me.
And here is Bill Laimbeer for William Bedford, and Laimbeer hearing it from the crowd. Kiki Vandeweghe, who in a rarity did not see any action at all Wednesday night in Dallas. has come on here in the first quarter with 4:12 remaining.
Kiki knows, as it has been stated by him, that he's got to perform quickly now. He doesn't exactly have the coach in his corner based on Pat Riley's remarks of late. He says Kiki's got to get into it and find his own way. It can't just be passes to him. So we will look for Vanderway to bomb away quickly.
One-on-one move by Aguirre. And Vanderway does pop. Jackson with the save. Oh, what a play. Also very fortunate. He threw it into a crowd, and Oakley was right there to field it. The Knicks now within 4.
And Charles had no one to bang into, so he made that layup.
Dumars coming off the screen. And the foul is called.
Talking to, excuse me, Marv, to Jack McCloskey, general manager of the Pistons today. He's been visiting with the team during their losing period here, having lost 5 of their last 6. He told me that he spoke to the team the other day and was kind of yelling at them for not playing harder. And he singled out Dumars. He said, Dumars came over to me and said, we'll never have to say that to me again. I mean, Dumars is a kind of player that every coach or GM absolutely loves. There were only superlatives to come at him. He said, you were right. We weren't playing hard enough, and you don't have to tell me anymore.
Ewing sitting down, so Charles Oakley now will match at center against Bill Laimbeer. Mason, Oakley, and Vanderway are up front.
See, that's the pressure Vanderway feels now. He's got to shoot every time, and of course that's not the answer.
Aguirre. Look out, Oakley went short on the pass off the confusion. Isaiah Thomas, and the Knicks able to get it back. Pistons by 6. Oakley pitching out to Wilkins. Jackson with another rebound, and he's fouled by Laimbeer. Mark Jackson with his 6th rebound of his first quarter. Detroit calling for time with 2:38 remaining in the first.
Ultimate team reference by Bill, who has really in many ways become the symbol of this team.
He had talked about retirement last season, changed his mind. He was frustrated by the tough year that Detroit encountered, in particular with the injuries suffered by Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars, and a tremendous burden on Dumars with Isaiah out of the lineup.
Reportedly, Isaiah played a big role also in talking to him about not retiring. Now we're looking at an old Knickerbocker out there for the Pistons. Darrell Walker has made his entrance.
As has Orlando Woolridge, putting head fakes on Anthony Mason. Illegal defense called for the first time against the Knicks. There is Darrell Walker, who last year led all NBA guards in rebounding, a Knick first-round pick back in '83. Played 3 seasons with the Knicks. Matched up with Mark Jackson, who's had an outstanding first quarter. Woolridge looking for the step. Orlando Woolridge, one of the bright spots the other night of the loss to Seattle. 11 for 16, 25 points. Now is his role to provide instant offense.
Tough matchup for Mason because Woolridge is so mobile.
Jackson rebounded by Rodman. 5 rebounds for Dennis Rodman in this first quarter. Pistons with the ball. They lead it by 6. Dumars. Crowd wanted a foul. Vanderway with room. Dumars able to pick him up. Wilkins, yes. 25-21, Detroit. Greg Anthony getting set to come on for the Knicks. Again, they isolate Woolridge with Mason. The foul call. Don Mason. Orlando Woolridge to the free throw line. Here's Anthony. And he comes on for Jackson. Mark Jackson with 6 points and 6 rebounds in this first quarter.
Remarkable job on the boards by Mark Jackson. Now this man averaged 25 a game in that run and gun style of the Denver Nuggets last year. Interesting pickup for the Detroit Pistons. He is offense, and it's a matter of time before he will get his points because this team needs him. Now that's a very tough matchup, as I mentioned a moment ago. Anthony Mason's strength is strength. That's what he has, bulk and strength. This guy is mobility. That's a tough matchup for Mason.
Notice the wraparound glasses. Last year Orlando missed 22 games with a detached retina in the right eye. As you mentioned, he averaged 25 points in the 53 games.
Vandeweghe with a nice cut, passed by again by Anthony. He doesn't seem to be on Kiki's movements out there.
Now to 50 seconds to go in the first. Wilkins, forced shot. Walker. And Anthony moves it down. Mason posting.
Well, he certainly got rid of Rodman with 2 bumps.
Detroit 27 and the Knicks 23.
Well, there's an example of a man using his best assets, much like Aguirre does. Mason used his inside strength.
Pistons holding for a final shot. Down to 10 seconds left in the quarter. And a hold on Vandeweghe.
You know, Marv, you don't think of this guy pressing, because the last thing Vandeweghe gives off is nervousness or anxiety. But I think he's probably pressing now because of his playing time.
Yeah, I think so. I think the point you made earlier also, where he knows he has to find his shots, and it's difficult for Kiki to do it by himself. And he is such a team player, but as a result of that pressure, here's John Sally checking in for the first time. He will at times have to take some shots that he might not ordinarily take.
Well, the other side of it is he's such a great shooter that why not? Because you'd rather see a great shooter maybe taking the extra shot than one who isn't as good a shooter.
Pistons by 6, 8 seconds to go in the quarter. Pressure by Detroit. Down to 4. Anthony has to fire one. Nick Bench felt he was fouled. Nothing called. Mike Mathis shaking his head. That's the end of the first here at the Palace. It's Detroit 29, the Knicks 23. Season out of Arkansas from the Knicks. Moved on to Denver for a brief stint and had several good seasons with the Washington Bullets before coming here to Detroit. Second quarter is underway. Nice pass. Woolridge from Sally.
Mason got lost on a pick, and Woolridge got a layup.
31-23, Detroit. John Starks has come on for the first time. Starks and Anthony at the guards. Oakley, Mason, Vandeweghe up front. Traveling violation called on Mason. Patrick Ewing, after picking up.
A lot of beef out there now for the Pistons with Sally and Rodman.
Ooh. Oh, Anthony got a blind shot screen, took a hit from Laimbeer.
I mean, Mason's got to tell him about that, though. And you saw that coming. We saw it coming from here. That wasn't a secret, that pick by Laimbeer. That's one of the reasons why Laimbeer's loved so much picks like that.
Dumars foul.
You know, Marv, just to elaborate on that point, Laimbeer is setting a pick not too far from half court that can really hurt a guy. What good does that do? So the guy gets free for another few steps. To me, the goal seems to be to hurt the guy, though. That's the way I read it anyway. Because it's not like the man's going to hit the pick and then they're going to get an instant basket. I mean, they're so far away from the hoop. That's like the Mahorn days.
I don't understand what you're trying to say. Are you saying that Bill Laimbeer tries to hurt people?
Well, and that would be the read, I think. Take a look at it now. Look at not too far over half court. Kaboom. Where's Dumars going? There's like 11 other.
Anthony Mason was called for that foul. Patrick Ewing has returned. It is Detroit 32 and the Knicks 23. So it is Ewing up front with Mason and Vandeweghe. Starks and Anthony in the backcourt. Ewing and Lambier in a battle.
Patrick had a different time with Bedford, didn't he? Now he looks like he's on a subway.
Vandeweghe dumped it off. Mason not able to hit.
Riley is furious.
And Woolridge was fouled.
If I'm reading Pat Riley's mind, it's like, why is my guy getting manhandled and your guy gets the call with long to that rim to finish that shot?
And Patrick Ewing has picked up his third. Here's Charles Oakley. Well, Anthony Mason took it for granted he was coming out, but it is Ewing who will have to sit down and has some parting words in the direction of Mike Mathis.
Oh, he took a beating. Ewing took a beating at his end of the court moments ago.
2 minutes into the second quarter, and the Pistons now lead it by 10.
You got to figure that's the end of Ewing for the half. So the Knicks have a long way to go without their main man.
Anthony. Greg Anthony showing some signs after that bad shooting spurt. He's shooting only 35% for the season. Detroit with a 33-25 advantage.
Oh, in Houston he was 0 for 4, then he picked it up a little bit in Dallas.
Again, Vandeweghe open. He is now 0 for 4. Oakley off the steal. Here's Starks. Yes, and it counts. The foul committed by Lambier, a blocking foul. Isaiah Thomas has returned. 3-point play for John Starks. And the Knicks now are within 5.
We'll laugh at that shot of Bill Lambier, that characteristic who me pose after a foul was called against him.
Lambier. So Bill Lambier with his first field goal. Vandeweghe, and that is his first bucket. 35-30 Pistons. Lambier with the tip.
Nobody in his way, so at 6'11", Lambier had no problem.
It's the Pistons by 7.
Amazing to think a man is inside the foul line at 6'11" and no one's guarding him. Greg Anthony hits again.
5-point Detroit lead. Anthony has hit 2 out of 3 from the field. Xavier McDaniel getting set to come on. The steal by Starks. That was made by Mason. John Starks with a little hot dog move that did not enthrall the crowd.
Well, this crowd is used to hot dog play. Dennis Rodman brought it to this arena.
And a delay of game warning against the Knicks. So the Pistons lead by 3 with 4 minutes gone by in the second.
Early signs, Marv, of Indiana repeated. Ewing went out in that game, 2 minutes gone in the second quarter, as he did in this one. Now Ewing will be back, however. The Knicks seem to be picking it up offensively.
Woolridge. Good box out by Oakley.
Oh. A special Charles pass.
Anthony changed his mind 3 times during the course of that dribble.
I don't believe Oakley passing off. I mean, it was a great pass in that it got somewhere. It didn't get thrown out.
Pistons have led by as many as 10. Anthony, yes, he's hit his last 3. And the Knicks now within 1. And the crowd urging the home team on. 5 minutes gone by in the second. Good hands to break it up.
You know, you have to think once again of the human.
Carter.
You did. Identical.
Here is Aguirre. And Thomas with the intercept, finding Aguirre.
That's one of Charles Oakley's passes. He's done it here in this arena, Marv. You remember the famous pass he threw in a key game. Very sloppily executed. Charles gave that one away.
Pistons by 1. Starks Well, the three-point assault by John Starks continues. He had 4 out of 5 against Dallas in his first 4, and he's given the Knicks a 41-39 lead. It matches the Knicks' biggest lead of the game. The steal off the deflection. Starks again from downtown.
John getting a lot of rooting from the Knicks bench right now. Red hot. You know, the Knicks coming in tonight have double the amount of three-point shot makes than the Pistons do. 26-13. Starks leading the way for the Knicks in that department.
Sally with the backdoor move. And a loose ball foul.
The strange fouls being called.
Of his last 7 from three-point land. Prior to that, 1 for 7. Thomas able to go glass. And the Knicks now lead 44-41 with 5:20 remaining. First half. McDaniel rebounded by Sally. Stutter step by Isaiah. Nearly picked off by Anthony. Laimbeer. Starks got a piece of it. Oh, what a play by John Starks, rejecting Bill Laimbeer. Anthony. Air ball. McGuire for Sally. And the Pistons are within 1.
When a man takes a shot when the offense is off balance and misses, that's what happens. Layups. Anthony rushed that shot.
Marv Albert, John Andres from the Palace of Auburn Hills. Capacity crowd, 21,000 on hand. It is the 158th consecutive sellout for the Pistons. Starks for 3 again. He has hit 3 out of 3 from downtown.
In what, about 90 seconds?
And he's 5 for 5 from the field for 14 points. So the offensive foul.
Doesn't overreact either way. If a guy's playing great, it's the same as when he's not playing well.
Aguirre. So Mark Aguirre, 7 for 13 for 15 points, and the Knicks now lead 47-45.
Tell you why Chuck Daly has to like the job he's doing, and it's not offense necessarily. He is shutting down McDaniel.
Oakley, strong move by Charles Oakley. Second field goal, he has 4, and again Charles doing the job off the boards with 7 rebounds. Isaiah Thomas brings the Pistons within 2.
Oh, Greg Anthony got a taste of greatness. He was all over Isaiah, and Isaiah had an answer.
2:20 remaining in the first half.
You know, Oakley with Aguirre, and the Knicks don't go into a mismatch situation, because Oakley just doesn't become part of the offense.
Sally fouled by McDaniel. Austin, and then they were swept by Chicago. Revenge by the Bulls in the Eastern Conference Final.
Looks like Anthony's got a severe sprain with that ice pack on his ankle. Fortunately for the Knicks, Mark Jackson got out to a strong start. He's now back in there.
Knicks by 1. They played well here in this first half, and for the most part, they have done it without Patrick Ewing, who has been in foul trouble, and Patrick sitting down after collecting his 3rd. Now Jackson and Wilkins in the backcourt. Quinnett. Oakley gets to it. Now McDaniel on the recovery for the reverse. Knicks lead at 51-48. Minute and a half remaining, first half. Thomas going cross court in an unorthodox play, and Rodman is there for the putback. That's his first bucket.
Rodman, the killer offensive rebounder in the NBA, had no one leaning on him at all. He had all the room he wanted. In fact, Rodman led the NBA in offensive rebounds last year at over 4 a game. He's on a wild clip lately in that department. He had 6 in a game against Seattle the other night, 8 against Indiana, 7 against Philadelphia, on and on. All offensive rebounds.
And he's averaging 12.5 per game. That's second to David Robinson.
He was second last year in the NBA, that number too. Same number.
Knicks with a 1-point lead. 45 seconds to go in the second. Sally lost the goggles and drew the foul. Mark Jackson. And he is now 1 for 3 from the line.
Coach Daly telling us before the game, I don't know what I have. I got to see what this team is going to shake out like. There's a lot of new faces now this year.
Said the same last year. Was not certain where his club was going, even with Isaiah Thomas healthy. Yes, a host of new names on this ball club. Orlando Woolridge and Darrell Walker, Brad Sellers, Charles Thomas, a rookie from Eastern Michigan,
and Bob McCann.
Key man missing Vinnie Johnson and James Edwards from a year ago.
Oh, yes, Edwards killed the Knicks last year.
McDaniel breaking it up. Crowd reacting to that pass. Knicks want to hold for 1. Down to 10 seconds left in the half. Game tied at 51. It's time remaining. Quinnett with the open jump. Yes. Ryan Quinnett from Mark Jackson to wrap up the first half. So at halftime, the Knicks 53 and the Pistons 51.
Rebounds. Pistons come in tonight having averaged over their last 6 games 18 offensive rebounds a game.
Thomas hit by McDaniel for the X-Man. That is number 3. Pistons shot decently in the first half. We talked earlier about the way they have been struggling, and against Seattle on Wednesday in one stretch, they went nearly 15 minutes without hitting a jump shot. Something the Knicks can certainly relate to. They had some of those stretches during this road trip. So the game is tied at 53.
Well, with the Knicks shooting a little under 44% for the first half, they have a long way to go to put some fear into the Pistons. They've got to lift that percentage up. Oh, Charles Oakley just massaged. Actually, now that's a facial. Charles Oakley gave Mark Aguirre a facial with his left hand and committed the foul.
So 3 on Oakley, McDaniel, and Ewing. Thomas off a crossover dribble. Pistons 55, the Knicks 53.
Pistons have been implored to play harder. That's what their coaching staff is telling them, to play harder.
Ewing.
This is a team that won a couple of championships in the last 3 years. They're used to being on top. Motivation is their enemy now. They've got to have motivation, and they don't seem to have had it this season.
Dumars with the steal. Isaiah. And Detroit leads by 4. The Knicks taking a 20-second timeout.
And of course, it's always helpful when your main man, this guy, Isaiah Thomas, leads the way, and he shows.
So the Knicks turning it over 3 times here in the early moments of the third. Jackson, yes. Pistons with a 57-55 lead.
The Knicks have to unleash Patrick Ewing now in the second half. Only 10 minutes of play for Patrick in the first half.
Rodman on a finger roll.
You believe the position he had, and he couldn't turn that into a hoop.
McDaniel, and the game is tied at 57.
This is the man, Xavier McDaniel, has been quiet.
8 points for the X-Man, shooting only 3 for 8. Rodman wide open. Pistons lead it by 2.
You know, no one on the Knicks appeared mystified by that. The unguarded Dennis Rodman.
Wilkins tried to use the pick. Oakley, strong move by Oakley, going to the left hand.
Set up nicely by Jackson, and I was wondering if Charles was going to discover that left hand, and he did beautifully.
Knicks and Pistons tied at 59. Knicks at 5-5 coming in. Pistons 5 up, 6 down. Aguirre called for the offensive foul. And upset. Just threw it off the leg of Oakley. Wants a delay of game. Charles pointing at Mark Aguirre, who had some nasty words to say. Naughty.
Aguirre goes charging in, and then that was followed by Oakley getting that pass off the legs. An obvious anger being showed by Aguirre. Tried to do it without drawing a technical, and he succeeded, Marvin.
Charles is the master of having delay of game calls against him, so he's quite familiar with what Mark Aguirre did. Here's Ewing. Yes, and it counts. No, Jim Capers waves it off. And now Chuck Daly has some words for the official. Apparently the pushing foul has been called before the shot attempt. Bedford picks it up. And Oakley and Aguirre continuing their discussion. Oh, and Oakley just brushed Aguirre's hands away.
And he also pointed at him.
And a technical foul has been called on Aguirre, who was saying, yes, it is a tee on me.
Mark wisely walks away from the throng.
And Mark Jackson will shoot the technical.
Stops in front of Kirk Gibson. He's so busy with that popcorn.
Well, the Knicks had been shooting well at the line. That their first miss after hitting 8 out of 8.
Well, the sparks began to fly. Oakley felt a little pressure from Rodman, didn't like it.
No call here. Jackson with the look away to Ewing. A gorgeous sequence by the Knicks, who now lead it 61-59.
Great help from Ewing with Jackson.
Pretty pass again from Jackson, and Wilkins was hammered. So Gerald Wilkins will go to the foul line.
Ewing came over to help Mark Jackson with Isaiah exploding to the basket. Knicks come up with the ball. Jackson advances it to Gerald, who wants the stuff. And he is stopped while drawing the foul.
Foul on Bedford. Gerald Wilkins making his first appearances at the line. Now Aguirre will sit down, as will Bedford, Woolridge, and Lambeer checking in.
Knicks had a perfect first half from the line, making all 8 attempts.
Knicks lead it 63-59. William Bedford to the bench after picking up his 4th personal. Thomas on the acceleration. What a move. See old legs, John?
I mean, the guy just exploded by Mark.
Oakley able to recover that pass, but then he's called for a travel. And the Pistons call for time with 6:44 remaining in the third. Out of the offense, taking only 3 shots. He's hit 1. He has been in the midst of a major slump. Ewing, yes. Knicks lead 65-61. Joe also hearing the advice from everyone. Isaiah Thomas told him the other day to practice shooting farther out. That would help for him to regain his touch when he's closer to the basket. Had you ever consider that, John?
Yes, yeah. Because you can get the full flow of your shooting motion down when you shoot the long range shots.
McDaniel from long range. So he's hit his last 2 from outside. The Knicks lead by 6, and the Pistons call for a 20-second timeout.
He's showing some good signs now with that jump shot.
Woolridge off a spin. Oh, beautiful move by Woolridge, who made the turn on Ewing. Ewing does not want to pick up number 4. Knicks lead it by 4. And a foul called against Detroit. Oakley up front with McDaniel and Ewing. Jackson and Wilkins at the guards. Here's Ewing. Again, a good setup from Jackson.
Beautifully done. And Ewing appeared at just the right second.
The Knicks 69 and the Pistons 63. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the third. Rodman setting the pick. Knocked away by Ewing. 3-on-2. McDaniel stripped, and he lost it.
Good play by Isaiah Thomas.
Crowd trying to urge the Pistons on. They have gone flat. They have had problems in the third quarter. He caught his own pass. That is a travel.
Did you hear that from Mike Saunders?
I heard someone scream. Was that what he said?
It sure was.
It sounded like a schoolyard.
Hey, somebody
maneuver.
give Mike a whistle.
Yes. Knicks by 6 as we come up on 4 minutes to go in the third. Pistons at one point of the first half, led by 10. Jackson and Rodman on the rebound.
Knicks in a position now to open a lead up. Pistons seem to know it.
Orlando Woolridge. So he's come off the bench to score 11. And the Knicks lead is now 69-65. Chant of defense from the crowd. Foul on Thomas.
Boy, Isaiah mouthing off heavily on that call.
But he said the other day that he's not the type who's going to rant and rave, usually over not getting a call. But he is just frustrated by his shooting problems, and so he has been reacting more vociferously.
How human of him.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Mark Jackson concentrating heavily, missed the first one.
The Knicks 70 and the Pistons 65. Lambeer and Ewing on the rebound, and the Piston shooting has dropped off here in the third. McDaniel on the tip.
That's a great follow. He had Rodman in front of him as well.
Knicks by 7. Isaiah had it knocked away. It's a Detroit turnover. Well, that time the look away did not work. And it leads to this. Offensive foul. Big break for the Knicks. Joe Dumars called for the foul, and a timeout has been taken.
It's in the game right now.
Here is Ewing. Yes, and the Knicks on fire now lead at 74-65 with 2:35 to go in the third. The Knicks have hit 9 of 13 for the field in the third. Detroit only 6 for 15. Bill Laimbeer cuts it to a 7-point Knick lead. Pat Riley staying with the starters throughout the third quarter. Ewing rebounded by Laimbeer. Darrell Walker now in the backcourt. Joe Dumars, Bill Laimbeer, Dennis Rodman, and Orlando Woolridge up front. Dumars off the hesitation, stopped from behind by Wilkins.
Well, that's an example of continuing to compete even after the guy gets around you. Gerald did it well.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in the third. Laimbeer and Ewing off the boards.
Boy, Rodman's been quiet.
Hit 2 out of 4, 11 rebounds. Shot clock down to 5. Knick bench counting it off. Wilkins and Rodman rebound. Walker swinging away. And Oakley with the save. Good play. Able to deflect it off Darrell Walker.
Charles Oakley attentive to the boards as usual. Darrell Walker not a good shooter. Almost uses the backboard successfully. And Charles makes Darrell feel silly.
It has been a very strong game again for Charles Oakley.
Ewing just punched the hand of Laimbeer away from him.
Ewing had to fire it up. The shot clock was down to 3. And Oakley gets to it. Jackson with the feed, broken up. Here comes Walker. Pat Riley indicating to Patrick Ewing, stay away. No foul. 74-69. Knicks by 5. 35 seconds remaining in the third.
Laimbeer greeting. Ewing is losing it. He's losing it with Laimbeer. Laimbeer is at his annoying best right now.
Wilkins, yes. Knicks 76 and the Pistons 69. And I'm certain deep in the recesses of Patrick Ewing's mind is the scrap he had with Detlef Schrempf, and does not want to be tossed again because it could lead to a suspension. So he has to be careful. Foul called on Jackson.
Jackson got a little physical on Dumars and went right
of the third. Look out. Woolridge able to get it off and hits. So after 3, it's the Knicks 76 and the Pistons 71.
Bill Laimbeer and Patrick Ewing getting into it. A lot of slapping going by. And Laimbeer greeting Ewing with a lot of physical play. The Knicks held the Pistons to their lowest scoring third quarter with 20 points. Pistons having a lot of trouble getting to 100 these days. Shot the ball poorly, as you see, 43%.
Traveling violation. It'll be Detroit ball. Knicks 76, Pistons 71. At one point, Detroit led by as many as 10. They have not been a good third quarter ball club. And that carried right through here tonight. Walker with the shovel. Woolridge. He has 15, and the Pistons move within 3. Ewing hit on the reach-in by Laimbeer. That's his third. The Knicks have won the last 3 against Detroit. Last year they took 3 out of 4. These two clubs meet again a week from tomorrow in New York. The last loss to Detroit came November of 1990 here at the Palace.
Marvin, every game last year against the Pistons, Ewing was the man. He scored between 27 and 35 points, the high scorer in every game for the Knicks. And James Edwards, who the Pistons sorely miss offensively, was the high scorer in 2 of the 4 for the Pistons.
Patrick Ewing has not been going to the line as frequently as the coaching staff would like. Of course, that number also a reflection of getting ejected against the Indiana Pacers at the start of this trip. Kiki Vandeweghe has come on, replacing Xavier McDaniel. John Starks, who had the hot shooting second quarter, is back on the floor. Starks, says the official, deflected it out.
Wild call there. Looked like it clearly went out off Dumars.
The Knicks lead by 4. And now a loose ball foul against Detroit. It is on Darrell Walker.
Darrell getting very aggressive, as his way is to do such, because that's why he's such a tough player. He'll go to the boards, as you mentioned earlier, the leading rebounder as a guard in the NBA last year. He's tough.
Dumars staying with Jackson, applying the pressure. Knicks have Jackson and Starks now in the backcourt. Anthony Mason up front with Kiki Vandeweghe and Patrick Ewing.
Pistons coming out high now, guarding the Knicks all over the court,
which has been successful on this trip. Ewing able to go glass. Knicks 79, Pistons 73. So Patrick Ewing has 16 points.
Oh, it's beautifully done. So fast, and he used the backboard so well.
Ewing has hit 7 for 14. Mason attempting to front Woolridge. Now Woolridge comes up high. They clear out for Walker, feeding Sally. He thought he was fouled. Jackson has the numbers. Starks from deep. Yes! John Starks again. He hit 3 from downtown in the first half. He is now 6 for 7 overall. He has 16 points. Woolridge.
Well, the offensive rebounding threat of the Pistons just isn't there. I mean, they're not getting second shots. The Knicks are owning their defensive boards.
7 for 14 overall. And he'll get a rest. Offensive foul. It's on Anthony Mason. It's the Knicks 81 and the Pistons 73 with 9.5 remaining in this fourth quarter. Aguirre with the room. And Vandeweghe getting to it. Jackson spreading it out. Away. And that is from downtown. So the Knicks shooting has really picked up, and they now lead by 11.
Big thing there, too, is Jackson recognizing Vandeweghe's presence and getting him the ball.
Offensive foul. And Aguirre complains about the call.
Lightly, though. One more and he's gone. He had a technical earlier. Patrick Ewing getting a little rest now, and the Knicks not missing a beat offensively as they did in the second quarter. They rolled right along when he was on the bench.
Knicks front line now with Oakley, Mason, Vandeweghe, Jackson and Starks in the backcourt. Mark Jackson has gone most of the way and has played extremely well. Thomas.
Bad miss for him. Sprinkling of booze.
Yes, rumblings from a crowd that did not react well to the Piston effort the other night against Seattle. And away for 3. And Thomas rebounds. Fall for steps. He thought he was hit by Jackson.
That hurts. That symbolizes the spell that the Pistons are in right now.
Dennis Rodman is back. Rodman up front now with Sally and Aguirre. 8 minutes remaining in the fourth. And it will be Piston ball.
Kiki is so out of sync. He's gone 1 for 3 now in the last minute or so. Wants to give it up, and he threw it behind his man.
Pat Riley getting set to send Patrick Ewing back onto the floor. And the foul is called on Oakley. Here's Ewing back. That's 4 on Oakley. New York Knicks with a record of 5 up and 5 down, coming off the win over Dallas on Wednesday to stop a 3-game losing streak. They had lost the previous 3 to Indiana, San Antonio, and Houston. After going 4 straight wins at home, while the Pistons at 5 and 6, they've lost 3 in a row. And here at home, they're only 3 up and 3 down. Ewing with the ball fake, and Rodman with the rebound.
A long time since the Pistons had a field goal.
Starks getting inside, but lost it. Good play by Aguirre. And Mark Aguirre cuts the Knicks lead to 9. Knicks have hit a flat period now. Xavier McDaniel getting set to check back in. Here's Ewing. Three-point attempt for Thomas. Isaiah with the downtown shot to cut the Knicks lead to 6, and a timeout has been called. Nothing to the extent of what took place a week ago here at the Palace involving Dennis Rodman. Watch him get involved here with John Stockton as they entangle, and this enraged Utah Jazz coach Jerry Sloan. And Rodman hit the free throw and made some motions in the direction of Sloan, and it led to a second technical foul, and Rodman was ejected, picking up a second tee. Detroit in the midst of a spurt. Rodman foul. They have come within 6. The Knicks led by as many as 11. And now Rodman will go to the line.
Rodman came out of the timeout moments ago with his characteristic wave to the fans to cheer, and they did. They all got up, and the noise level here lifted dramatically. So the fans here are getting behind this Pistons team, and they look like they're ready for the final battle, but what an embarrassment Rodman just suffered.
Air ball on the free throw. Dennis Rodman has been a very poor free throw shooter during the course of his career. And then he fires one up, and he's called for a violation, trying to follow it up.
He's so weak offensively.
He's one of the most unique players in the history of the NBA. That he's there to rebound and defend. That's it. And he's an all-star because of that.
And
Patrick
Ewing outguts John Sally, who's been playing Ewing above the waist, and Ewing found a way to go under Sally beautifully.
86-78. Knicks with the lead with 5.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Dumars, and he continues to have his problems. Joe Dumars now sporting a 1 for 7.
Starks was on him perfectly, right in his chest.
We're talking serious shooting problems for perennial all-star Joe Dumars.
Yes, he started last year with Isaiah being hurt, started the all-star game.
86-78, Knicks with the lead. Starks, yes, gets the roll. John Starks now 7 for 8 from the field for 18 points.
Have to like McDaniel giving that shot up too and not forcing it.
The Knick lead is 10. 4:40 remaining in the fourth quarter.
The starting Knicks lineup out there, with the exception of Starks, in for Gerald Wilkins.
McDaniel. And here comes Thomas. Dumar's held. Foul committed by Jackson. A season.
Excellent foul by Jackson, denying that shot attempt and not costing the Knicks.
Sally. A host of bricks being thrown up by the Pistons. They had that one good spurt cutting into the Knick lead, but now the Knicks by 10, just under 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter.
And very few second shots for them.
Starks. Whoa. All right, John, let's get serious now. It's been a very nice night. Isaiah Thomas. That shot affected by the presence of Patrick Ewing. And Jackson gets it to Starks. Knicks lead at 90. 78. The Knick bench to our right, lively right throughout the game. The Pistons taking a timeout.
Practice seems to be making perfect for the Knicks on the road as their 5-game trip winds down, resulting in fans leaving early here at the Palace. All over the place. Patrick Ewing's presence resulted in Mark Jackson getting that deflection and John Starks getting the last 2 Knick points, stretching the Knicks lead now to 12 with 3:34 left.
Mark Jackson playing most of the way and has had an exceptional game right from the first quarter, where he had 6 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Isaiah Thomas on the penetration got it back out. Mark Aguirre cuts into the Knick lead. It's now the Knicks by 10 as we come up on 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Detroit showing some pressure.
And when Mark sat down in the first half, as he finds Ewing inside, and Patrick gets fouled in the process of missing what was an easy one.
Ewing hitting the first from the line. He now has 19 points. The Knicks and Patrick Ewing announcing that Patrick has agreed to a contract extension, as did Charles Oakley. The official announcement coming earlier today. Down to 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The terms were not announced, and Aguirre called, rather the foul on the Knicks, which will send Aguirre to the line. Flagrant foul. It's called on Charles Oakley. Oakley and Aguirre were having words earlier. That's 5 on Charles. So it's a 2-shot plus possession. Reportedly, Patrick Ewing signed for the same deal that was discussed with the Knicks during the off-season. His existing contract going another 4, including this season, and then extending for 2 more, where the enormous money kicks in. Both Oakley and Ewing's contracts will not affect the Knicks salary cap this season or next. Traveling violation, and Isaiah Thomas questions the call.
Meanwhile, the Knicks can't rejoice, particularly with the likes of Isaiah on the court, who has a history of being explosive in a 2-minute period.
Knicks by 10 with 2:45 remaining in the fourth. Knicks try to play the clock. 10 on the 24. Now down to 5. Down to 3. Jackson. Yes. Big bucket by Mark Jackson to extend to a 12-point lead. Aguirre and Starks got involved, and the foul on Aguirre, who shoved Starks. We approach 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The Knicks nursing a 12-point lead, and a win here tonight makes this a very acceptable road trip. The Knicks losing the first 3. Then they beat Dallas in the final seconds, and a very convincing performance here tonight against Detroit. Xavier McDaniel from Mark Jackson for a 14-point Knick lead. McDaniel has 14. High man for the Knicks. Ewing with 20. Starks with 20. And Aguirre cuts it to a 12-point advantage. Detroit led by Aguirre, who has 23 on 10 for 21 from the field. Isaiah Thomas with 19. Orlando Woolridge with 15. But again, Joe Dumars did not do it. 1 for 7 from the field. And once again, the Pistons shooting, particularly in the second half, was poor. Aguirre volleyballs it to Thomas. Nice play.
What the Knicks have done throughout, Marv, as we have witnessed, is played intensely every moment of this game. They have not suffered any lulls.
Foul called on Thomas. Yes, Pat Riley has to be very pleased with the on the air, starting with Knick game night at 8 o'clock. Game time at 8:30. A later starting game because of the Virginia Slims tennis at the Garden. And the Knicks have even done well at the free throw line. They've hit 15 of 18 from the line. Knicks 97 and the Pistons 86 with just under 1 minute remaining in the game. Rodman for 3. Stay right here, said Jim Capers. Loose ball foul on Oakley, so he is
over on the boards, as he has been doing of late to teams. He's been ringing up very big numbers, and Rodman has been quiet. If he's not rebounding fiercely, he's just out of the game because he will not score.
I would think the Knicks will receive a tremendous greeting at the Garden tomorrow night off this effort to go 6-5 for the season. And the foul is called. It is an offensive foul. McDaniel pushing out. And Detroit takes a timeout with 44 seconds remaining in the fourth. And the Knicks up 97-88. 87-88. Isaiah looking for the 3. Played very tightly by Jackson. Knicks do not want a foul. Woolridge. Aguirre rejected by Ewing. And look out, Ewing and Aguirre having words.
Ewing thought he was dumped by Aguirre, who then immediately went over to help him up, and Patrick rejected the help.
But they've just made friends now. Aguirre explaining himself. And now foul is called. And Patrick Ewing and Mark Aguirre embracing. And Rod Thorne can look away now.
Patrick with a big smile. Just think 30 seconds ago he was ready to kill.
And Gerald Wilkins to the line.
Gerald Wilkins, 1+, he shoots 3.
Foul by Woolridge with 10 seconds remaining. And the Evian Natural Springwater Player of the Game, a magnificent night for Mark Jackson. Triple-double, 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 13 assists. And he played most of the way.
Well, Anthony hurt that ankle late first half, and Mark carried on the rest of the way.
Isaiah Thomas, final seconds. Knicks by 9, and that is it. Terrific performance by the New York Knicks as they have defeated the Detroit Pistons here at the Palace by the score of 99-90. So the Knicks have won the last 4 against Detroit. They are now 6-5 for the season. 2 up and 5 down on the road. While Detroit has now dropped 4 in a row. And for the season, they have won 5 and they have lost 7. We'll be back.